The great Galactic Council chamber was quiet. The vast room floated in space, made of shining metal that reflected the stars outside. Thousands of delegates from dozens of alien races were seated in floating chairs. Each race had its own shape, color, and voice. Some were tall and thin, with skin that glowed like fire. Others were short and round, with smooth blue scales. They all looked down at the humans who had been brought here in chains. Ethan Cole, the human representative, stood at the center. He was tall, with dark hair and sharp green eyes. He wore a simple uniform of Earth's Council, but it felt small in the presence of these strange beings. Around him, other humans were tense. Some were soldiers, some were scientists, and some were leaders of human colonies. All of them knew what this meeting meant. The head of the council, a being called Varnus, a tall creature with 4 arms and a long silver neck, spoke first. "Humans," Varnus said, his voice echoing in the chamber. "You have grown too quickly. Your ambition is dangerous. Your actions in the galaxy show a lack of control. You are unpredictable, and you cannot be trusted." Ethan stepped forward. "Honorable council members," he said, "we have traveled among you for centuries. We have traded knowledge, shared technology, and helped many races survive. Humanity has brought medicine, faster drives, and new energy solutions. We do not seek war. We seek peace." Varnus's eyes narrowed. "Your words are empty. You build weapons faster than you build cities. You take what you need without asking. You are too dangerous for the galaxy. We have decided. Humanity will be banished." A cold silence filled the chamber. Ethan could feel the air tighten around him. Banished exile? This was worse than death. To be thrown into the void beyond the known galaxy was a sentence few could survive. Admiral Laura Price, standing behind Ethan, clenched her fists. Her gray hair shone under the chamber lights. She had commanded the largest human fleet in history. She stepped forward. "Council members," she said, her voice calm but firm, "we are not criminals. You cannot judge us by your fear. Humanity has the right to live among the stars, to grow, to learn, and to prosper. We do not accept your sentence." Varnus raised one arm. "Your protest is noted, but meaningless. Your fleets will leave this galaxy immediately. You will be sent to the dead zone beyond the Orion Rift. No species has survived there. You will fail, and the galaxy will be safe from your interference." Ethan felt a fire in his chest. "We will survive," he said, loud enough for everyone to hear. "You think this will end us? You are wrong. Humanity does not bow to fear. You will remember this day not as our end, but as yours." The council did not respond. Their decision was final. Human ships, numbering in the thousands, began to move out of the chamber. The fleets were vast, silver and black, with sharp edges that cut the starlight. Admiral Price watched them depart. Her eyes were hard, but her heart ached for the billions of humans who had nowhere to go. The journey to the Orion Rift was long and dangerous. The human fleets traveled through empty space, past dying stars and frozen planets. The rift itself was a place of shadows, where even the strongest engines struggled to maintain power. Supplies ran low. Some ships were damaged by gravitational storms. Many people whispered that the council had sent them to die, but humanity did not break. Engineers like Marcus Hale worked day and night to repair the fleets. Dr. Nora Bennett, a scientist, developed new energy shields that could withstand the rift's deadly radiation. Colonies that had been separate for centuries began to unite. Communication lines were established between ships. Humans shared food, water, and medicine. They learned to depend on each other in ways they never had before. During one long night, Ethan stood on the observation deck of the flagship, the Horizon. Stars streaked past as the fleet moved deeper into the rift. He looked at the faces of the crew, tired, frightened, but determined. He thought of his children and grandchildren, and of all the humans who would live or die in this exile. Admiral Price came to stand beside him. "It is worse than I imagined," she said softly. Ethan nodded. "Yes, it is. But it is also an opportunity. We are free from the Council's control. We can create something new, something they could never imagine." Laura shook her head. "It will take centuries to survive out here. The rift is unforgiving. Many will die, Ethan placed a hand on her shoulder. Then let them die with honor. Let them die building the foundation of a new humanity. Those who survive will remember our story. They will not be ashamed. They will be proud. The fleet continued its slow, dangerous journey. Days turned into months. Months turned into years. The first generation of humans in the rift faced hunger, disease, and isolation. Some ships were lost to storms or mechanical failure. But slowly, humanity adapted. New worlds were settled. Life support systems were improved. People learned to farm in artificial domes, to mine frozen asteroids, and to live in harmony with a harsh environment. Children were born who had never seen the galaxy outside the rift. They grew up hearing stories of the Council and the Great Betrayal. They were taught to respect the stars, to respect technology, and to respect each other. They were also taught to remember the words of Ethan Cole. You will remember this day, not as our end, but as yours. Generations passed. Humans built cities inside massive ships and on small barren planets that slowly became livable. Engineers like Marcus Hale became legends. Scientists like Nora Bennett discovered ways to bend energy, to make ships that could repair themselves, and to grow food from almost nothing. Admiral Price's leadership was remembered long after her death. Her words became a guiding principle. The stars do not reject us. They await our return. Ethan Cole lived to see the first colonies fully independent. He walked among them, watching children play under artificial skies, listening to humans sing songs of hope and survival. He was old, but his eyes still held fire. He knew that one day, humans would leave the rift. They would leave not as exiles, but as a force no one could ignore. In the quiet of the observation deck, Ethan spoke to the stars. We were cast out, he said. We were meant to die, but we survived. And one day, the galaxy will know that humanity was never weak. It was only waiting for the right time to rise. Below him, the fleet glimmered like a silver river in the darkness. Every ship carried thousands of humans, all alive because they refused to give up. Ethan felt hope. He felt pride. And he felt the beginning of something greater. Something that would not only survive, but flourish. The Council may have thought they were punishing humanity. They may have thought they were sending them to die. But in truth, they had given humans a gift. The rift, the exile, the endless darkness it forced humanity to grow, to innovate, and to unite. And one day, that unity would make them stronger than any council, stronger than any alien race, stronger than the galaxy itself. As the horizon and its fleet sailed deeper into the rift, Ethan turned to the stars one last time. We are humans, he whispered. We endure, we adapt, and we will rise. One day, the galaxy will remember us. And with that, humanity vanished into the unknown, carrying hope, courage, and the unbroken spirit of their kind. The story of exile had begun, but so had the story of a new empire, an empire born from banishment, built on survival, and destined to change the stars forever. The Orion Rift stretched endlessly before the human fleet, a vast darkness filled with dying stars, frozen planets, and storms of radiation. It was a place no one had ever lived. Many said it was impossible to survive there, but humanity had no choice. They had been cast out by the Galactic Council, and this wasteland was now their home. The first years were the hardest. Supplies ran low. Ships were damaged by gravity storms that bent metal like paper. Food grew scarce. People were cold, hungry, and frightened. Some ships' engines failed completely, leaving hundreds of humans to drift into the void. It was a dangerous time, and death was constant. But humans refused to give up. Engineers, scientists, and leaders worked tirelessly to keep the fleet alive. Marcus Hale, a young engineer, became famous for repairing engines that no one else could fix. Dr. Nora Bennett created artificial gardens that grew food from almost nothing, using only water, light, and a small amount of soil. Even children learned to help. They carried water, tended small plants, and learned the ways of survival from a young age. Admiral Laura Price, now older but still sharp, traveled from ship to ship. She spoke to the people, encouraging them to keep going. We are not weak, she told them. We are humans. We endure. This place will not defeat us. Ethan Cole, older, and gray now, watched the efforts quietly from the horizon. He felt pride in the humans around him. Each day, he saw people doing things that once seemed impossible. They repaired ships that were torn apart, built new engines, and learned to farm in frozen domes. Humanity was changing. The struggle made them stronger. As the fleet moved deeper into the rift, humans began to explore nearby worlds. Many were small, icy, and barren. Some had pockets of water or rare minerals. Colonists landed carefully, tested the soil and atmosphere, and began to create settlements. At first, the settlements were simple. Tents and domes held a few hundred people. They used heat lamps to melt ice for water and grew small crops in the soil they could find. The colonists learned quickly. Humans are clever and adaptable. Marcus Hale designed small machines that could drill ice and extract water. Dr. Nora Bennett improved the soil with nutrients created from recycled waste. Families worked together. Children helped their parents, and elders shared knowledge. Slowly, small communities formed on icy worlds that had once been thought lifeless. But life was never easy. Storms of radiation sometimes destroyed entire domes. Ships were damaged or lost. Disease spread when water became contaminated. Still, humans continued to fight. They learned to treat illnesses with the limited medicine they had. They built safer domes, stronger engines, and shields to protect their colonies from storms. In the dark of space, humans began to build not only for survival, but for the future. They developed massive ships that could house thousands of people. These ships had living quarters, farms, workshops, and schools. Each ship became a small city. People moved between ships using small craft called shuttles. Trade began among ships. Humans exchanged food, water, medicine, and technology. They built a new society, one based on cooperation, skill, and trust. Ethan Cole often visited the colonies. He watched children grow strong and clever, learning to handle the tools and technology of the future. He taught them stories of Earth, of the Council, and of humanity's exile. Every child heard the story of banishment and survival. Every child learned that humans never give up, even when the universe tries to crush them. Admiral Price worked with young leaders like Jason Trent and Commander Mia Collins. Together, they planned for the long future. They knew the Orion Rift would not remain their home forever. They needed humans to learn, grow, and adapt. If they could survive here, they could survive anywhere, one day. A scout ship returned from a distant planet with news. The planet was small and icy, but it had a core of rare metals and a thin atmosphere. Humans could mine the metals and slowly terraform the planet. Marcus Hale led a team to begin construction. They built domes and engines that warmed the air. Within months, small forests of artificial trees grew inside the domes. Birds, carried in special containers, learned to live in the new world. The colonists cheered. Humanity was no longer only surviving, they were building. Years passed. Humans became stronger, smarter, and more united. Children who were born in the rift had never seen Earth. To them, the Orion Rift was home. They learned to navigate the dark space with ease. They learned to repair engines, grow food, and defend themselves against storms. They grew clever and skilled, knowing that survival required intelligence, teamwork, and courage. Ethan Cole watched the changes with quiet satisfaction. He knew the galaxy had cast them out, thinking humanity would die. But humans had grown in ways the Council could not imagine. They had adapted to a place that no one had survived. They had built farms, cities, and fleets. They had learned to work together. They were no longer weak or small. They were strong, and their spirit could not be broken. Admiral Price, now nearing the end of her life, called a meeting of all fleet leaders. Jason Trent, Mia Collins, Marcus Hale, and other young leaders gathered. She spoke with calm authority. "We have survived what was thought impossible," she said. "We have built colonies, fleets, and families. Our people are strong. One day, we will leave this place. One day, we will return to the galaxy, not as exiles, but as humans who have proven our worth." The leaders listened, their eyes shining with determination. They had grown up in hardship. They had seen friends die. They had faced storms, famine, and fear. Yet they were still alive. They understood the meaning of endurance. They knew that humanity's exile had made them stronger, smarter, and united. One day, Ethan took a small group of students to a high ridge on a frozen world. The ridge overlooked the fleet, with ships spread like silver stars across the darkness. Children stared in awe. They had never seen such a view. Ethan pointed to the distant stars. "That is the galaxy that cast us out," he said. "They thought we would die here, in darkness and cold. But we are alive. We have built a home. We have learned to survive. And one day, we will return." A child asked, "Will the council remember us?" Ethan smiled. "They will remember. One day, they will look at us and know that humans cannot be stopped, that they were wrong to exile us, that we are strong, united, and determined. Humanity was never weak. We were waiting for the right time to rise." Marcus Hale, who had been working nearby, added, "We are learning every day. Our engines are better. Our ships are faster. Our colonies are growing. One day, humans will travel beyond the rift, beyond the galaxy, and no one will ever doubt us again." Dr. Nora Bennett brought small plants to the ridge. She let the children plant them in the frozen soil, teaching them how to nurture life even in the hardest places. "This is how we grow," she said, "not just with machines or engines, but with patience, care, and hope. Humanity will survive because we never give up." The years passed, and humans continued to adapt. They built massive ships that could travel longer distances. They created shields that protected their colonies from deadly storms. They mined asteroids for food, water, and metal. They built schools and libraries inside their ships. They taught every child the value of knowledge, courage, and endurance, despite the hardships. Humanity laughed, played, and loved. Families grew. People married and had children, even in the dark reaches of space. Communities celebrated festivals and stories of old Earth. Music, art, and culture flourished. Humans remembered who they were, even as they became something new, a people shaped by struggle, endurance, and the will to survive. Ethan Cole grew older, and finally, he felt it was time to rest. He looked at the thriving colonies and fleets, knowing he had seen the first step of something greater. Admiral Price, his lifelong friend and commander, smiled at him. "We did it," she said softly. "Yes," Ethan said. "We survived exile, and this is only the beginning. One day, the galaxy will see what humanity can do. One day, they will regret casting us out." The human fleet moved deeper into the rift, but the darkness no longer seemed threatening. It was a place of growth, learning, and endurance. Humanity had been tested, and they had passed. The lost years had not destroyed them, they had made them stronger. And somewhere in the distant stars, far beyond the rift, the Council could not yet imagine the empire that was quietly being built. A human empire that, in time, would rise higher than anything the galaxy had ever known. The Orion Rift had become home to humanity, but it was no longer a place of fear or danger. Humans had grown stronger, smarter, and united. Entire colonies thrived on frozen worlds. Ships roamed the dark space, carrying thousands of people. Farms, schools, hospitals, and workshops existed inside massive vessels and domes. Humanity had survived the impossible, and now it was ready to grow beyond survival. Admiral Jason Trent stood on the deck of the flagship. The Horizon 2. He was tall, with short brown hair and dark eyes that reflected intelligence and determination. Beside him, Commander Mia Collins scanned the holographic map of nearby systems. The fleet had grown far beyond what Ethan Cole or Admiral Laura Price had imagined in the early years of exile. Thousands of ships moved together like a living organism, protecting colonies, scouting new worlds, and studying strange phenomena in the rift. Jason turned to Mia. "We have been here for centuries, and humanity has grown stronger every day," he said. "Now it is time to look beyond the rift. We need to see the galaxy again. We need to prepare for the future." Mia nodded. "Agreed, but we must be careful. The Council still exists, and they may try to stop us. We cannot risk war yet. Observation first, learning first." The The fleet had mastered the technology that the rift had forced them to create. Ships repaired themselves. Energy shields could survive radiation storms and black holes. Engines ran on void energy, allowing humans to move faster and farther than any other species in the galaxy. Colonies were self-sufficient. People lived comfortably, and children were educated in both science and history. Marcus Hale, now an elder engineer, walked beside Jason. Our engines are ready for long journeys. He said proudly, we can move between galaxies if needed. The Council will not recognize us when they see us again, Dr. Nora Bennett added. We have also advanced in medicine and agriculture. We can survive in any environment. Humans have adapted to the rift. There is no place in space that can defeat us now. Jason smiled. Then it is time to observe the galaxy, quietly, learn how they have changed. The Council cast us out thinking we would die, but we will see how they fare. Scout ships were sent first. They moved silently, avoiding detection by old Council sensors. Humans watched from the shadows as the galaxy continued without them. They saw wars, political struggles, and declining alliances. The Council races had grown arrogant in the absence of humanity. They had forgotten how humans adapt and endure. During one scouting mission, Mia discovered an ancient alien probe near a cluster of stars. They are studying something, she said. It may be related to the Council or some other race. Jason studied the data. Send more scouts. Let us observe quietly. We need to understand before we act. The human colonies continued to grow. Entire planets were terraformed, turning icy or barren worlds into thriving homes. People built cities and domes and on open land where possible. Technology allowed humans to create food in large quantities, control weather inside domes, and maintain health systems that ensured no disease could spread easily. Humans worked together. They shared resources, skills, and knowledge. Every colonist knew the importance of unity. One young officer, Lieutenant Alex Mason, asked Jason, will we ever return to the galaxy openly? Jason looked at the stars. Yes, one day, but not yet. We must be ready. The galaxy underestimated us once. We cannot make the same mistake twice. We will return not as exiles, but as equals or stronger. The fleet's scientists discovered ways to harness energy from stars and dark matter. Ships became faster, weapons more precise, and shields nearly impenetrable. Humans could survive conditions that would destroy any other race. Colonies communicated instantly through quantum channels, sharing knowledge and resources. Humanity's technology and society grew together, making them a powerful civilization beyond the reach of the old Council. Meanwhile, humans observed the Council indirectly. They learned that some races had grown weak, dependent on alliances and trade networks that could easily fail. Others had become corrupt, using power for personal gain. Humanity, shaped by survival, had learned discipline, efficiency, and resilience. The contrast was clear. Humans were no longer weak or scattered. They were united, disciplined, and prepared. Marcus Hale presented a report to Jason and Mia. The Council has not advanced as we have. Their weapons and ships are outdated. If we were to face them, we would have the advantage. Jason shook his head. We do not fight yet. Observation first. Patience first. We show strength when it is needed, not before. Still, humans prepared quietly. Ships were equipped with advanced defensive systems. Fleets were trained in formations designed for maximum survival and efficiency. Colonies had underground shelters, advanced energy shields, and emergency protocols that made them almost impossible to destroy. Humans had turned the rift into a proving ground. They had become a civilization capable of facing any challenge. During a Council anniversary celebration broadcast, humans watched from the shadows. They saw races who had once dismissed humanity as dangerous now celebrating victories in war. And diplomacy. Humans noted mistakes, weaknesses, and prideful arrogance. The Council believed humanity was gone. They were wrong. Admiral Jason Trent gathered the fleet leaders for a meeting. Humanity has survived exile, thrived in the rift, and built technology no one else can match. We have observed the galaxy. We have learned. One day, we will return. But when we do, it must be as equals. or stronger? Commander Mia Collins added, our people are ready. They know survival, discipline, and technology. We can defend ourselves against anything. And we can teach the galaxy what true civilization looks like, Jason nodded. Then we wait, we watch, and when the time comes, humanity will rise from exile and show the galaxy our strength. Human fleets continued to grow. Colonies expanded to neighboring systems. Children learned engineering, medicine, and leadership. Society became merit-based, with every person contributing to the survival and growth of humanity. They learned that unity and intelligence were their greatest weapons. One day, a small scout fleet discovered remnants of the Council's fleets near the edge of a known galaxy. Jason studied the data. Their ships are weak. Their technology is outdated. But we do not attack yet. We will let them make mistakes. We will be ready. Marcus Hale spoke proudly. They thought they were sending us to die. But look at us. We have grown stronger in every way. We are ready for the galaxy. Ethan Cole, now very old, looked at the thriving colonies and the growing fleets. He knew that humanity had reached a point he had dreamed of. Humans had survived exile, grown in knowledge and strength, and become a civilization that the galaxy could no longer ignore. He spoke to Jason Trent privately. Your generation has done what we only imagined. You have turned exile into strength. The Council will see us one day. They will remember the humans they tried to destroy. Jason smiled. We have learned patience, endurance, and strength. Humanity will return, not with vengeance, but with power and wisdom. The galaxy will see what they lost when they cast us out, Mia Collins added. And we will not forget the lessons of the Rift. Survival, unity, and knowledge will guide us. We are ready. Years passed. Humans continued to expand, learn, and strengthen. They developed technologies that allowed them to explore faster, protect colonies better, and create life in harsh worlds. The Orion Rift had become a cradle of human civilization. From the darkest place in space, humanity had grown into a disciplined, powerful, and united civilization. They called themselves the Terran Dominion, a name that symbolized survival, unity, and human determination. The Dominion did not seek immediate revenge. They studied, observed, and prepared. They understood the galaxy's weakness and their own strength. When the time came, humanity would no longer be exiles. They would be the rulers of their own destiny, and somewhere in the dark reaches of space. Beyond the rift, humanity looked at the stars of the galaxy that had exiled them. They waited patiently. The rise of the Terran Dominion had begun, and the galaxy, unaware and unprepared, had no idea that one day, humans would return not as weak exiles, but as a civilization greater than anything it had ever seen. Humanity had returned. The fleets of the Terran Dominion moved silently through the edges of the old galaxy. Vast and strong, ships of black and silver stretched like rivers through space, carrying millions of humans who had never known exile, but had inherited the strength of those who had survived it. Admiral Jason Trent stood on the deck of the flagship, the Horizon Prime. He looked at the stars ahead, remembering the first journey into the Orion Rift centuries ago. The darkness that had once seemed terrifying now felt like a friend. Humanity had grown in that darkness. They had learned, adapted, and become stronger than the galaxy could have imagined. Commander Mia Collins joined him. We are ready, she said quietly. The Council does not know we are here. They think humanity is still gone. Jason nodded. Then we will show them what they have lost. But we do not strike first. We show power, control, and wisdom. Let them see humanity as it truly is. Scout ships moved ahead, silently observing the old Council fleets. Jason and Mia watched the holographic screens. The Council ships were scattered, outdated, and poorly coordinated. Some of the Council races had grown arrogant, thinking that humanity could never return. They were wrong. Marcus Hale, the elder engineer, approached. Their fleets are no match for ours, he said. Our ships are faster, stronger, and smarter. They cannot even begin to understand our technology. Jason smiled. That is not the point. We do not destroy them. We show them that they underestimated us. Let them feel the weight of humanity's growth. The first contact was quiet. A council envoy attempted communication. The hologram flickered into view, a tall blue alien with sharp eyes. Humans. The envoy said nervously, We thought you were gone. This is impossible. Why have you returned? Jason spoke calmly, his voice firm but controlled. You sent us into exile, believing we would die. We survived. We grew. We built fleets, colonies, and a civilization stronger than you could imagine. We returned not with war, but with knowledge, with power, with the truth of humanity's strength. The council envoy trembled. We did not expect this. Your power is immense. Your fleets, Jason interrupted. We do not need to destroy you. We need only to show that humanity cannot be ignored. You cast us out, thinking we were weak. We are not. We are humans, and we endure. From the observation deck of the Horizon Prime, humans watched the old galaxy react. Panic spread among council races. Fleets scrambled, unsure of how to respond. Commanders whispered in fear, realizing that the exiled humans were no longer weak, no longer scattered, and no longer afraid. Admiral Jason Trent gave one command: hold position, observe, let them see. Humans did not attack. They did not fire weapons. They only demonstrated their presence. Fleet formations glimmered with advanced shields. Ships moved with precision, faster than any council vessel. And technology that had been impossible centuries ago now existed in abundance. The council's spies and envoys could see everything, and they trembled. Commander Mia Collins spoke quietly to Jason. They will come to us, asking for peace. They will beg for alliance. Jason nodded. Let them. But we decide the terms. Humanity is no longer the one who asks for mercy. We are the one who defines the future. Meanwhile, Ambassador Lily Cole, great-granddaughter of Ethan Cole, prepared for the diplomatic meeting. She had studied the history of humanity's exile and survival. She knew what it meant to face the council after centuries of observation and preparation. The council requested a meeting in the same chamber where humanity had first been judged. The chamber had not changed much. The same cold metal and floating chairs remained. But this time, humanity entered not as prisoners, but as equals. The Terran Dominion ships orbited silently outside, a reminder of their power. Lily Cole walked forward. Honorable council members. She said calmly, humanity was cast out, sent into exile. You believed we would fail, but we survived. We adapted. We grew. Today, we return not as beggars, but as humans who define their own destiny. The council races whispered among themselves. Fear, awe, and disbelief filled the chamber. One of the council elders, a tall being with emerald scales, spoke first. You should have died. We underestimated you. Lily's eyes were steady. You did. And now you see the result. Humanity is united, disciplined, and advanced beyond what you thought possible. We return not with vengeance, but with strength and wisdom. The galaxy will now recognize us for what we are. The council fell silent. There was nothing they could say. Humanity had proved the impossible. They had survived where no one else could. They had mastered technology, built fleets, and created thriving civilizations in a place that was supposed to kill them. Jason Trent stepped forward. We do not seek war. We do not seek revenge. We only seek acknowledgement. The galaxy cast us out, but we are here. We are ready to take our place among the stars. On our terms, council leaders looked at one another, realizing that the humans were no longer children of the galaxy, but a civilization of their own making. They had underestimated humans, and now they faced the consequences. In the following months, humanity negotiated trade, alliances, and exploration agreements with the council races. But it was no longer the council that led. Humanity set terms that others had to follow. Colonies were established across the galaxy. Advanced technology was shared, and humans helped stabilize conflicts with logic, efficiency, and strength. The Terran Dominion became a symbol of endurance, intelligence, and unity. Planets that had once feared humanity now welcomed human expertise. Trade routes thrived, technology spread, and everywhere humans went, they carried the lesson of survival, patience, adaptation, and cooperation. Marcus Hale, now very old, looked at a map of the galaxy. "We have come far," he said. "We have survived exile, built fleets, and made allies. The Council thought they could stop us. They were wrong." Dr. Nora Bennett added, "And we continue to grow. New worlds, new technology, new generations. Humanity will never be weak again." Jason Trent stood on the observation deck of the Horizon Prime, looking at the stars. "We return not as exiles, but as a civilization greater than anything the galaxy has known. And this is only the beginning. The stars await us, and we will explore, create, and lead. Humanity is ready for the future." Lily Cole, standing beside him, smiled. "And we remember the past. We remember exile, struggle, and survival. That is what makes us strong. We do not forget who we are, and we do not forget what we have endured." The Terran Dominion expanded further, beyond the old galaxy, into unexplored systems. Humans discovered new stars, new planets, and even traces of ancient civilizations. They did not destroy what they found. They learned, studied, and built. Humanity had grown from exiles into explorers, teachers, and leaders everywhere humans went. The message was clear. They were no longer weak. They were not to be underestimated. The Terran Dominion was a civilization born from survival, forged by exile, and guided by wisdom and strength. Ethan Cole's words, spoken centuries before, echoed in the hearts of every human. You will remember this day not as our end, but as yours. Now, the galaxy did remember. Every race that had once cast out humanity saw the strength, unity, and intelligence of the Terran Dominion. They realized that exile had not destroyed humans. It had made them stronger than anyone could have imagined. Humanity did not stop. They continued to build, explore, and teach. Colonies thrived, fleets grew, knowledge spread, and the story of exile, survival, and triumph became the foundation of a civilization that would shape the galaxy for centuries to come. The last image of Part 5 is clear. The Terran Dominion, vast and strong, moving through the stars. Humans on countless worlds looking at the sky, knowing that they had endured exile, overcome impossible odds, and risen to a power that no one could challenge. The galaxy had cast them out. Humanity had survived. Humanity had returned. And humanity would never be weak again.